This is the exact workout that started the entire Mountain Bike Academy. I'll tell you why here in just a second. My name is David Davidson, the guy who we had to use the same name twice because once wasn't enough. And now I'm going to show you with one video the exact workout that I've been using over the past 4 years to shred with confidence. And it actually is literally one workout. It's the same thing I've been doing for years and years to get great results in just 45 minutes twice a week. Let's dive in. And I actually wanted to share with you probably the most important story about the entire thing. So for some of you who've been following the channel for a few weeks, yes, I make videos online, but what I really do is something called Mountain Bike Academy. And the origin story started with this piece of paper right here. And what ended up happening was my wife said, "Aren't you a little too old to do this?" And she wasn't trying to insult me. What she brought to my attention, though, was something that was absolutely true. And the truth is that some things had changed. When she told me this, I was 27 years old. We had a kid on the way. We were renovating our own house. I had a mortgage. And things had just changed. And what I realized was that I couldn't just crash my way to confidence anymore. And it was really difficult to be able to ride at the level that I could when I was in college, when I was a little bit younger, 23, 24 years old. And ended up getting this workout from my brother-in-law. And the situation specifically was I had too much work, a house to renovate myself, and most importantly, I had no time. So I said to my brother-in-law, "Hey, John, look, man, I can't even ride my bike. I don't even have enough time to ride a bike. What could I do 45 minutes 2 times a week to have something to do?" So here's the real reason why this is so important for you to understand is that at this time, my wife said, "Aren't you too old for this?" It was the exact same day that I rode my bike at Paris Mountain in South Carolina on a trail that I was really used to, and I had gotten lapped twice by some 60-year-old guy. And I was riding stiff, I was over braking, I had arm pump, I wasn't even having fun, and I felt like I was really frustrated. So the context for this workout, remember that. For a few minutes, I'll show you what changed. So let's get into it. What makes the perfect workout? So first of all, we have a warm-up on here. Now, what many of you do the wrong way for warm-ups is you were taught in high school. Again, it's not your fault. We were taught to do this and hold it for 20 seconds. We were taught to touch our toes and hold that for 20 seconds and then, do this whole thing where you're doing the quad stretch. That is not what you want to do before a workout. Instead, what you want to do is an active warm-up. On my active warm-up, we have a scapular routine where I had 10 reps of each of these moves. I hang from the gymnastics rings. 3 rounds of 10 to 45 seconds each round. 5 minutes getting up and down off the ground in different ways with the tennis ball in the back of my hand. And what this warm-up does for you, you need a warm-up where you're moving, you're engaging different parts of the body, and you're waking things up. So warming up doesn't just mean raising your heart rate. It actually means doing some things that challenge your balance. Then I had an upper body workout and a lower body workout, as you can see. We'll go through the upper body workout first, and what I'm going to do is break down what I did and what this does for me as a mountain biker. The first one is a gymnastics ring pull-up paired with full range of motion push-ups. The gymnastic ring pull-up, what this does is create thoracic spine strength. Thoracic spine strength translates to riding downhill with stability and allows me to move my scapula without having to be passive on the bike. And it also allows me to absorb hits without transferring that energy into other parts of the body. Full range of motion push-ups. This one has been a game changer for me. Full range of motion push-ups. The funny thing that I found is that I've been doing push-ups for about 15 years before I started doing this workout, and I was doing them wrong the whole time. Most of the time when we do push-ups, we get really wide, we roll our shoulders forward. Here, I'll show you. So the wrong way to do push-ups is to roll everything forward like this and to spread the scapula out and then push forward. So you'll notice that you're doing it wrong if you roll your shoulders forward and you feel a lot of pressure here in the deltoid when you're doing push-ups. It looks like this. It's actually a really weak position to be in because we have not engaged the scapula in terms of stability. So I learned that by locking the scapula and retracting the scapula and doing the push-up the entire way this way, I was actually able to build a lot of strength, and I found that this exact position translated directly to on the bike. All right, so we have the full range of motion push-ups. I did 6 rounds of 8 to 10 reps. Also, what I included was a 3-second pause at the top of each rep. And again, this feeling translated directly into riding downhill and having stability for all those hits. Pretty cool. All right, the second set of exercises are gymnastic ring support holds. I would do 5 rounds of 20 to 30 seconds per round and ring rows. This one, I would do 5 rounds of 6 to 8 quality reps with a fully retracted scapula held at the top for 3 seconds. To be honest, I don't know if I've ever done every single rep on a single workout. This one is really hard for me, maybe because my arms are extremely long, who knows. I did notice a huge difference on stability on jumps because of these as well. The third set of paired exercises here, I did a front line drill, 3 rounds, 60 seconds, paired with a back body line, 3 rounds for 60 seconds. And these are incredibly difficult for me. I'm 6'3", and my story here, the reason why I started the Mountain Bike Academy is that I sat in a car for 3 to 4 hours a day, had severe lower and upper back pain, and my riding was suffering all at age 27. So I felt like a 60-year-old in my mid-late 20s, and just flat out, it's because I had a weak core. And the front line drill and the back body line drill radically changed my posture on the bike. I was able to engage muscles that allowed me to stand up taller, that allowed me to support my torso with my core, and it was just a game changer. So that's the upper body. All right, let's move on to the lower body. And this one's actually pretty simple. You can almost just see it on one page here. The lower body, I did a warm-up. Again, this warm-up was something that I found, there's a clicking in my hip whenever I pedal with my right leg, and it eliminated the click in my hip, which is kind of cool. I did 10 hip cars. A car is a controlled articular rotation. The difference between a car and a stretch is that we're reaching into the end of our range of motion, and we're pulling into that range of motion actively as we move through the rest of the entire range of motion with the hip. And so the benefit to this is that it teaches your body how to move. And I just noticed an incredible connection with the bike after doing this, plus it warms your body up really well. I also did 5 to 10 minutes of moving on a slackline back and forth, and I came up with some variations just to make it fun. And the reason why the slackline is a really good warm-up versus, say, getting on the bike and pedaling or running is that this activates and challenges the balance to the body, and so it wakes up not just the muscles and the heart, but also the brain and the mind-body connection. So something to try. Also, I didn't start doing this until later, but 5-minute skipping rope. This eventually turned into, I would do 1,000 skips every time I would do any kind of workout. And I just did this one because it made my calves not small. They're still small. Yeah. All right, and getting to the workout, the first paired exercises are a precision high jump, 30 quality reps. Quality specifically for me meant once I chose to explode off of the ground, I was immediately getting as high in the air as I could, and then I was landing as soft and smooth as a cat, perfectly in balance. I eventually progressed to where I could do this from about 6 feet away, and I could land on the balls of my feet and land in a completely compressed stance, which is really difficult to do. So this, I will tell you right now, this absolutely specifically helped me with timing my bunny hops. And more importantly than that, this helped me with just a mind-body, bike-body connection whenever I was coming down from a drop or a section of roots where I was in the air for a little bit. I just had an amazing connection from my head down to my feet of what was going on below me. And this really, really helped me a ton with riding downhill. Super fun. Also, I would pair that with a Sumo Deadlift, 5 rounds, 5 reps. I would usually do lightweight, something like 185 pounds. I can tell you right now, what I learned from, this is the one takeaway that I have from doing this experience over the course of years and years. The most I've ever squatted is 310 pounds in high school. I weighed 185 pounds. I'm 6'3", so that was a lot of weight for me. And I always liked to lift heavy. I thought it was really fun. I enjoy lifting heavy. And you know what I've found? after all those heavy weightlifting sessions is that I got 10 times more out of doing proper, engaged, controlled movement with medium weight than I ever did with heavy weight. And for whatever reason, I think it's just because mountain biking is more about power to weight ratio, and it's how efficiently you use that. It's just because timing is so important with mountain biking that I was never able to tap into all the raw strength that I had, because the medium weight and the intentional exercises, such as the Sumo Deadlift, where I would just go really, really slow and be very intentional about it, I was able to get a whole lot more out of that medium weight, which put my body at a whole lot less risk of getting injured. I mean, 185 pounds is my body weight. That's not a lot of weight. And so I would say that if you are interested in prolonging your career as a rider, if you're 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, the most important thing you can do is move properly. And everyone has heard have good form. But again, I just personally haven't found very much benefit to adding super heavy weights, 300-pound squats, 400-pound deadlifts. I just haven't gotten very good results from raw power alone without the ability to move my body properly. Something to consider. Kettlebell split squats. Crucial. This one really, what it did for me was it pointed out that I had a massive difference in strength in my left leg and my right leg. I'm right-handed and my left leg is significantly stronger than my right. And it was actually my right hamstring because, believe it or not, I have had a torn ACL, and I didn't know about this until a couple of months ago. I had a torn ACL for 18 years, and I had a torn meniscus that I've been walking around on that was not diagnosed properly in high school. And so the result of this injury was that I had a weakened hamstring, and I had some instability in the right knee to where my knee basically did that. And ultimately, I found that kind of instability and that imbalance through doing these kettlebell split squats. And I would just do 5 rounds of 3. 5 rounds of 3 slow sets. And I'm talking about 10 to 15 seconds top to bottom. And by doing these very slow, I found that I was able to build a really good mind-body connection. And most importantly, I was able to find how to add power in different parts of my stance. For a lot of you that are doing, 2 sets of 8 heavy weights, or you're doing kind of CrossFit things where it's very high intensity, the thing that I would encourage you to try out is going really, really slow. The reason why is because when you're doing really high intensity workouts, I've done a ton of them, what happens is we can throw our weight through less powerful portions of our movement. In other words, we add a lot of power when we're squatted down low, and we use our momentum to get us through maybe a weaker part of our body. And, you might be needing to access that out on the trail. Who knows? Finally, I would finish out the workout with body weight lunges. I started with 6 rounds of 1 minute on, 1 minute off. Just worked on muscular endurance. And the biggest thing that I developed over time with the walking lunges was the ability to support my torso. When I first started it, I would fall forward and use my lower back to pull me back up as I was standing to get the momentum of my torso to help me lift. And I found that after a while, if I was able to keep my upper body very still, that I could really get a better workout from doing this. Leave your comments below. Have you ever done anything like this before yourself? What are your thoughts on it? Have you ever heard of a car before? Leave some comments below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next video.